In this video, we're going to be defining what an intellectual disability is and the characteristics of it. I'm Craig Kahn, I've got it going on, and this is Teamautismpedia, where we're dedicated to educating you about autism, how you can improve the lives of people with autism. If you're interested in this type of content, please consider subscribing so you can get our latest videos. So some of you may be wondering, why is an autism channel focusing on intellectual disabilities? Well, intellectual disabilities are something that a number of people with autism have. I've worked with a number of people who have it, and I know of a number of places that help those people have places to live and all that. So intellectual disabilities are a real part of people with autism. According to studies that I have linked down below, that in the general population, 1% of people have autism, a little over it. But people with intellectual disabilities, about 10% of them are on the autism spectrum. So you're more likely to have someone with an intellectual disability who has autism than just a regular person and picked out of a random crowd. The definition of an intellectual disability, according to the DSM-5, the authoritative guide to general definitions of psychological terms, and that says that someone who has an intelligence or IQ under 70 is generally classified as someone who has as an intellectual disability. A normal person will have around an average of 100 IQ, but these people will have a lot lower, which results in symptoms and signs that you'll find in these people, and that they often have difficulty thinking on a number of areas, and then they have trouble adapting to different situations, as we'll talk about now. The areas where people with intellectual disabilities will have trouble on thinking in are in understanding life skills, practical, social, and conceptual. We'll go over each of them. So life skills are generally what you need to do to take care of yourself, to maintain your health, to brush your teeth, take showers, put on clothes and all that stuff. Just the things that you do in your day-to-day life that make it so that you can succeed. Some of these things may not be so easy, and that the people with intellectual disabilities will need to be helped in some of these ways. So make sure to find out what may be needed for that. So social, if you're familiar with our content on autism, is something that people with autism have, and there's a little bit of a difference, I've seen at least, in my experience with some of these people who have intellectual disabilities and social. And a number of the people I've worked with who have autism, they may have, if they don't have intellectual disability, they may just do some things like they may not understand so much on conversation, how to do it properly all the way, or other things that are like relationships, those things. But some of these people with intellectual disabilities, like one person I know I've been working with in particular, that they look at going and doing things that may not necessarily be socially acceptable, that most people will get, like making noises in public and other things like that. Those kind of things are not things I've seen in a number of the people I've worked with who have just autism, not an intellectual disability. Practical is just looking at the general kind of intelligence and that, because you're probably familiar with someone with low intelligence and generally not being able to do math and other kinds of things that we often use, and look at someone like if they can understand those concepts, like what you do in school, well, then that person's generally smart. Just because they don't have that intelligence doesn't mean that they're worth less. It just means that that's what they have, and that's what they're going to use in life. We all need to appreciate all the gifts that we have in life. Conceptual is some things that you need to think about to understand and all that. For example, some of those things are time, money, and other things that aren't natural in the world. A number of people with intellectual disabilities can't handle their money, and something may be needed to be done to, if there's money that someone wants to leave in there for that person so that it can be used in a safe way that is for that person's benefit. But you need those kind of concepts are things that are not something that people with intellectual disabilities will get so easily. People with intellectual disabilities also have some problems often with memory, like long-term and short-term memory, so that which can make learning harder, and just general memory recall. It can be hard. So that's some of the challenges some of these people face. Even if these people can learn a skill, sometimes that skill may be only in one kind of place. Like if they learn how to pay for their lunch, it may just be in a certain cafeteria, and they may not be able to do it at another restaurant. People with intellectual disabilities also have trouble with adapting to different situations. I know a number of the people I've worked with, if you put them in a situation, especially if they're like alone and they don't have anyone else to help them, then they wouldn't have any idea or the understanding of what they could do. So they need that and help from other people, and thankfully there's different organizations that help people, especially people who have received had tests to prove that someone has an intellectual disability, and they can get benefits to help them and those things, and that there will be a place for those people to live. So make sure to get those. You need to make sure that the person is tested and shown by a psychologist that they have an intellectual disability before the age of 18, at least in the United States. So if you know someone with an intellectual disability and they are not have not been tested, make sure that they get it before they 18. So that's what an intellectual disability is. I hope you enjoy this, and please subscribe so you can get our latest content when it comes out. And if you are interested in helping fund and improve the quality of these kind of videos and what we can do, please look at supporting us in our Patreon page, which is there's a link in the description below.